I'm Mandy.
And I'm Jessica.
And this is The Coop.
This is Coop Faves, where we share our favorite homeschooling resources and adventures.
I'm Mandy.
I'm Jessica.
And this is Coop Faves.
Today, it's Let's Play Music.
Ooh!
This is a music program I am intimately familiar with, as my oldest child has gone through the whole program, and now my youngest child is in it. Let's Play Music is a franchised music curriculum for early childhood. There are teachers throughout the country who become trained in the program and then manage their own offering of classes from their own homes or from rented studio spaces. So I've kind of done all of the different things. Had classes in homes, and then now my son is going to an actual studio that this teacher is renting because she has enough business.
Awesome.
Yes. I wanted to share a little bit about the history of it because I just love this program. It was founded by Shel Solberg, who has a BA in music education and was teaching private voice and piano instruction. In 1998, she was looking for a music class for her 3 and 1-year-olds and wanted more from them. She developed this program that incorporated the teaching philosophies of early music educators Kerwin, Kodai, Orff, and Dahlcroze. Let's Play Music is a 3-year music program designed to begin at age 4 or 5, which incorporates solfege, which is do, re, mi, and hand signs. So it's being able to interpret music through lots of different means. Ear training, piano skills, note reading, and classical music study in a playful class setting. Let's Play Music is broken into 6 semesters, so those 3 years include 6 semesters total, following the typical school year calendar. The end of each year culminates in a performance allowing students and families to celebrate the accomplishments of students in all 3 years. By the end of year 3, students compose and perform their own short song on piano.
That's so cool.
And so it's really neat because every year you're watching, when you're in year 1, your child is the youngest. And so you're getting to see what the 2s and 3s are doing, and you can't imagine your kid composing something in 2 years from now.
It's amazing.
And then year 2, you get to see the new kids, and now your kid's in the middle, and you see those last year kids from year 2 now composing their songs.
Well, and what's so cool is I've heard about your older daughter doing this,
Yes.
and she's always loved music.
Yes.
She's loved piano. And I feel like a lot of that foundation of love and passion came from this program, right?
I think so, yeah.
And what I also love is you've mentioned this before, that the TK and preschool and kindergarten, this is a great time to spend as they're quote unquote schooling.
Absolutely.
Like this is it. This is what
education.
you do.
Yes, absolutely. In 2012, the Sound Beginnings program was created for 1.5 to 4-year-olds and their caregiver. There are now 6 semesters of Sound Beginnings, allowing children to attend for 3 years before repeating a semester. So when we first started Sound Beginnings in 2014 or 15, my daughter was 2.5 or 3. Maybe she's a little older than that. So maybe 3.5. But there was only the 2 semesters at that point in time. And so if we wanted to do another year, we would have repeated. And so now they've had not just another year, but 2 more years.
And it's a mommy and me, right? So you're in there with her. And
Yeah.
I appreciated that when my child was in speech therapy, a mommy and me, because it taught me how, and he was 2.
Right.
It taught me how to interact with my 2-year-old.
Totally.
And things then I could do at home in a very bonding and memory-making way.
Yeah. And I think what it does really well, too, is it shows you what is important about the skill and what isn't. The having fun and the exposure is the important. It's not whether they get it and can repeat it back to you. That's not what's important. And so being able to be there in the classroom and watch your kid interact with the teacher every week and see how others are developing and growing and noticing what the teacher is focused on is really helpful.
Yeah, you're learning
as
a
educators.
lot. Yeah.
Absolutely. And so Sound Beginnings is really a wonderful program. And I love that we get to do that now with my son. It's really fun. And so he's actually in his second year of Sound Beginnings.
Wow.
So he did a whole one, but because he's a January birthday and will be 5 in January, he's a little on the small side. And so there's a few reasons for certain children, older is better, because there is some dexterity involved. And while he's actually super coordinated and dexterous, he has tiny hands.
Yeah, he's tiny. Yeah.
And they play a lap harp, and they need to be able to be strong enough to do that and have slightly bigger fingers. So there's no reason, he's loving the class, and so there's no reason to push him up any earlier. So while he could have started his Let's Play Music first year this fall semester, we're just going to wait till next year when he's 5.5.
Yeah.
It's that whole kindergarten thing, you
Totally.
know, 4.5 or 5.5. What do you do? So he'll be 5.5.
He's a boy.
And he's loving it, and it's fine. In 2015, the Presto program was developed for older children who are beginning their music education.
Right.
So if you don't hear about this program until your child is 7 or 8 and you think, oh man, I missed the bus.
Yeah.
Now you have an opportunity for this fun program, but it's going to be more age appropriate presentations. It's not going to be so preschooly. And I wanted to share the core values of Let's Play Music. So they link each core value to an actual blog post on their page. So if you're interested in learning more, you can visit the blog that I've put together for Let's Play Music on our Faves page, and it will have a link to each of the blog posts about these core values. So the first value is we play, and that's in all caps with an exclamation point. We play and recognize its benefits. 2, we embrace the process of learning. 3, we give consistent effort. 4, we focus on abundance. 5, we make the most of our time. 6, we communicate openly and honestly. 7, we pursue quality. 8, we celebrate accomplishment. 9, we face challenges with optimism. And 10, we purposefully cultivate relationships. So I love their value system. It really
definitely.
is a fantastic one. And the fact that they have a blog post about each of their values, it really shows a lot about their transparency and what you're going to get out of the class. So the Sound Beginnings program is 30 minutes. The first year of Let's Play Music, I want to say, is 45. And it's parents 3 weeks out of the month. And then the 4th lesson, no parent. And so they work their way into the kids going solo. So I love that, even though they don't state it, one of those, I guess they do state it, we purposely cultivate relationships. And so part of that is the parent-child relationship. They want you in there.
I love that they don't just assume you're able to do a drop-off with your child.
Right.
With someone they don't know.
Absolutely. So second year Let's Play Music goes up to 55 minutes, and it's 1 week on, 1 week off, I think. So 1 week with the parent, 1 week without the parent, 1 week with, 1 week without. And then third year, I believe you only go in once a month. And so it progressively gets you comfortable with the teacher and then going in. But it's a commitment.
And so it's a different teacher for Sound Beginnings than Let's Play
Not
Music?
necessarily.
Okay.
It depends on the offering. Since it's a franchise program, it depends on what that teacher wants to offer. There's some teachers who aren't trained for Sound Beginnings and don't offer it. There's others who only do Sound Beginnings and don't do Let's Play Music and refer out for their students. And then our teacher currently does both, but this is a different teacher than my daughter went through. And so we've loved all of our teachers, to be quite honest. I can't say that I have a favorite. I think I have a few that are special. Like I love the one that my daughter went through her 3 years with. That was a really special teacher. And then the current teacher that my son has, she's an amazing educator. She, in fact, just received an award through the Let's Play Music corporate and as an outstanding educator. And so she's really incredible. Superstar, absolutely. So I wanted to share 3 reasons why it's a favorite.
Yes.
There really is no wasted time during class. So they say that in their values. We make the most of our
that.
time, and it is 100% true. And I've been to enough of these classes over the last 7 years that I can honestly say this. The teachers are trained to keep the class fun, productive, and constantly moving. Even the squirreliest students manage to stay focused because they don't do any one thing long enough to get distracted. Now, it's not perfect. You still have the squirrely, usually boys, who are making a sound here or there, or when they start their piano training in second year of Let's Play Music, they want to turn their volume up and they want to do things, but this is where they learn those skills, and so it's fine, and they're not on it sitting there waiting for so long that it gets out of control. So time management is excellent. There's no wasted time. They start instantly on time and end on time too.
That's amazing.
You're never running over. You're never wondering why you're only getting a 25-minute class instead of a 30. It's so well run. My second reason is that the semesters have fun names and carry a theme throughout the whole semester. Our current Sound Beginnings semester is called White Horses, and it includes folk songs about horses. It includes different skills, so the Sound Beginnings semesters focus on a different skill. So this semester is mostly about counting and numbers, and then all semesters provide introductions to classical music. They all share certain songs throughout the semesters for familiarity, routine, and ear training. So we always begin with a hello song and a goodbye song, and then we always practice our major scales. The tone bells are a big part of the curriculum, and part of what you register and pay for in your first year of Let's Play Music are the bells. So this is my daughter's set. I won't need to order a separate set for my son. I don't think that they need to have separate sets. My daughter doesn't touch these anymore, but if it's important to her.
She's on a piano.
Yeah, if it's important to her and she wants her own to go away with someday, I'll get a second set. But these are fantastic. I didn't even bring the mallets because I think I removed them from the room. But it clearly has the note name, C, D, E, F, G, written. And then it has the solfege. And it has solfege two different ways because of how solfege works. And I'm not going to go into that.
And you have
but
a whole octave.
Yeah, and you learn how. And so this is a really great tool. They learn how to play songs along with it, starting in Sound Beginnings. So while they don't have a set for at home in Sound Beginnings, they use the teacher's copy at home, or at the studio. So there's fantastic tools for the kids, and I love the semesters. I wanted to show you, this is their book 1. This is semester 1 of Let's Play Music, and it's red balloons, and the songs were super cute, and they talk about how the red balloons go up, and I won't sing you the song. Oh, here's
why? I want to hear it.
No, I can't sing those notes. I'm not capable. I can dance for you, but you don't want to see me sing. I mean, there's a ton of stuff in here. This book is a lot of music theory as well, and then there's homework in here, so they get a homework page. And it's mostly listening to the CD that accompanies each semester. So there was a physical CD that went home and we play in the car. Now it's all digital. Oh. And so I have it all on my phone. But this is how long I've been in the program, that I was still there when they were handing out CDs. Oh. And now it's just digital.
I'm glad you have it.
Yeah. Yes, I'm glad I have it too.
Can I just point out this? I'm looking at year 3, and I like that for the playing the piano part. They have John Jacob Jingleheimer Smith. Yeah. And cockles and muscles and magic keys and C minor cadence and mixed paint. So they have all these different ones to play, and then a tally. So it looks like they say you probably have to play them each 5 times. But I like that even at this young age, they have a bit of autonomy, it sounds like, to be able to say, oh, I have this to do, and to keep track of that.
And they can see it and know what to do. And it was excellent training for my daughter going into her private lessons, because it wasn't a shock to her that her teacher expected her to practice 5 times a week.
Right.
I want you to play every song. So not only does she have to practice 5 times a week, but in order to even put one tally mark of practicing, you practice that same song 5 times in a row or 3 times or something like that. That's considered one practice.
Wow.
Is to sit there at the piano and do it 5 times in one sitting, and then you get 1 tally mark.
So she's about what age doing that?
That's currently. I mean, when she began her private lesson, she was 7.5.
Right. Okay.
So, and that was the expectation from the beginning.
And because she had the groundwork of
it wasn't shocking to her. You know, she had been working on that and understood that there was an investment. And then I want to show the pink piggies. So this was last year, and Pink Piggies taught us some Spanish. So we were singing some songs in Spanish, and then they worked on counting money. So they had a little piggy bank, and then they would count and recognize pennies, dimes, and quarters. And so it was cute. There's lots of little songs, and the maracas were the instrument that they got as part of their package.
We heard them when we played it in.
Yep. Lots of fun. My third reason it's a favorite, if I'm narrowing it down to 3, even though each favorite has multiple favorites.
Well, it's a huge paragraph for each one.
So learning is through play. That was their first core value. And I truly believe that early childhood education should be rooted in play. And Let's Play Music does it beautifully for such a comprehensive program. From the earliest ages, children learn to control their voices through echoing fun puppets. They know what it means to do a chest voice and to do a head voice. That's when you're up in your falsetto.
That's how we were learning to yodel for Switzerland.
Exactly.
Christmas.
Exactly. So they're introduced to that just by playing. They don't know it's chest and head until they're a little bit older and they're given terms for that. They just know they can do it and they know it instinctively. They explore rhythm instruments. They get to move freely, sometimes with fun props. There's scarves and there's drums and there's all kinds of things that they get to use. Bean bags.
It almost seems like a crossover between some of your early classes.
Totally.
Where it's like you're the same.
Well, when I met Let's Play Music, and I think somebody recommended it to me after watching me teach, because they're like, wait a second.
This is what you do.
This is like what you do. And so then I got very inspired by the program to be really comfortable in my natural inclination to play and to explore and add novelty to my classes for early childhood. And so I've used a lot of the techniques, kind of in here because I can see how they work. I appreciate it as a parent, and so now I'm more comfortable with it. But usually people expect ballet to look a certain way. So it's been hard for me to incorporate some of these things, but this is what makes it so great.
Yeah.
They learn thematic dances or puppet shows to understand classical music composition. So a puppet or a dance move is connected to a specific melody line, an instrument, or a complete section of music. Like think of a chorus, so you connect a puppet to a chorus, and every time that chorus comes back, that puppet comes up. When the other melody comes up, you use the other puppet. And then sometimes, many compositions, those will happen simultaneously. So now you've got multiple puppets, or you're doing 2 parts of the dance moves because that is happening in the music. So it really teaches them to hear when melodies collide, and it teaches them to recognize patterns and helps them remember famous classical music that we will inevitably encounter throughout our lives. So it's such a great way for them to hang on to that. So having gone through the program once with my oldest, I still love and rave about this program. I know this is not the first time you've heard it on here. This is just the first time I'm dedicating an entire episode to it. And now I have my 4-year-old in this program. When my daughter graduated at 7, we were recommended to a private piano instructor through her Let's Play Music teacher. So it provided a connection. It was a perfect match, and my daughter was easily assessed by her piano teacher and started in the appropriate technique and theory books.
And I like it that if the piano teacher that they're migrating to understands the undergirding of the music theory that they've already had.
Yes.
It really helps them to know where to start. Whereas some random one over here who doesn't know the program might not get it.
And so what Let's Play Music does is when the students graduate at the end of their 3rd year, there is a packet to provide to their instructors as well. So if they're willing to look at it and not just say, I already know how to teach kids, they can actually see what theory and technical skills these students already have and an appropriate place to start them. And so it even provides some lessons based on their current knowledge and skill base to start with before moving and transitioning into what the private instructor prefers. But Sometimes your private instructor wants to immediately move into it, and that's fine too.
How does this compare in cost to piano lessons?
Oh, private instruction is far more expensive. Okay. So the Sound Beginnings, the 30-minute, I want to say it was maybe $200 for the 14-week semester.
That's amazing.
So it's very minimal. I think I broke it down to being about $14 to $15 per class. Mm-hmm. And then it just goes up by the time per student. However, I will say that each teacher gets to determine their rate.
Oh, okay.
So there's a registration fee that you pay to the franchise, to the Let's Play Music Company. Then they send you the booklets. They send the booklets to your teacher, and then the teacher gives you your booklets, but they manage the materials that they develop and own, and then the teacher sets their rate. But I'm sure there's some discussion amongst the Let's Play Music community about what an appropriate rate is. But as far as kids' activity goes, and I live in Southern California, so if anywhere is going to charge more, it would be here. And so
especially if they're renting a studio.
Absolutely. So I consider these rates extremely fair and reasonable for the amount of benefit that you get. You think of gymnastics is usually more expensive than dance, for instance, per lesson.
All the apparatuses and everything.
They have a higher overhead typically. And so that's typically for one class a week. You pay at least $80 to $85 a month per child. And then maybe there's a family discount or discounts for other reasons, or if you do a homeschool class, sometimes a daytime rate applies. And so there's different scenarios. But if you compare, $85 a month to a $60 a month, this tends to be very reasonable. I love and adore this program. Nothing but good things to say.
And it sounds amazing. I've heard from everyone that I know who's ever been in it, I've only heard amazing things.
I will say, it's not for everybody because it does require commitment. And it does require a weekly commitment for 2 semesters out of the year. There's a long break for holiday. There is a summer break. It ends well before the normal school year ends.
And you can't have your other kids in the room with you.
You cannot. So the Sound Beginnings, you can. Okay. So siblings are welcome, assuming they're willing to participate or be quiet. But in the actual Let's Play Music program, there are no siblings. And so that is a challenge. It started to become more challenging with my daughter, and after my son was born, but by the time she graduated, he was only 1 and 4 months. And so I was mostly wearing him. So as long as he wasn't in a shouting phase,
I know,
it was fine.
I remember considering it before I actually had close friends. I had heard about it, and I had nowhere to put my other children.
No. So that is definitely a problem. If you don't have a support system for the other children that you have, if you have kids close together, the Let's Play Music program is definitely going to be a challenge for you. But that's where hopefully you might team up with other moms. And
now I would have that, option.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I hadn't lived in this. Yeah, I hadn't lived in this city long enough to develop the friendships that I would have needed. So.
Yeah, and if you're not just to throw them at a babysitter, I mean, that's an added expense too, just for a lesson you're already paying for.
Right.
So that would be my caveat, is it's definitely not for everybody. As amazing as it is, it's not always feasible. But if these are your values and you can make it work, it's amazing and highly worth your time.
Oh, definitely.
Thanks for listening. We love your support. Be sure to subscribe to our podcast, leave a rating and review to let us know how we're doing, and share our podcast with your friends who need a little community, humility, and joyful fun in homeschooling.